Hello and welcome once again to Society Girl Saves the World, a podcast where we discuss various things about Pakistani cinema, and today's topic involves three different subtopics, and one of them is going to be the influence of a notorious, highly controversial film banned in numerous countries around the world, and watching it back in the day on VHS was like the ultimate taboo. The film we're of course talking about, a film called
I Spit on Your Grave. What you are about to see did happen.
Secondly, we shall be taking a look at a film released back in 2007, starring Ahmed and Nida Chaudhary, together for the umpteenth time in another variation of
I Spit on Your Grave.
And finally, the battle for the title and honor of the Pakistani sleaze master number one, the king of sleaze.
I Spit on Your Grave. This woman will soon break and 5 men beyond recognition, and there isn't a jury in this country that will convict her.
And we can begin by speaking a little bit about why I Spit on Your Grave, the very notorious and extremely controversial film from 1978 has had such a considerable, or more than considerable impact. It's almost become a genre of its own, the rape revenge saga, and why it has become especially such a huge success and a staple for exploitation films in South Asia. The premise of the notorious I Spit on Your Grave is about a woman who lives in the big bad city, New York City in this case, and she yearns just to get away from the city and head out to the country for a relaxing and therapeutic weekend. But it doesn't quite turn out that way, because she is confronted by a bunch of thugs who rape her in scenes that are very difficult to watch because they're so prolonged and brutal and graphic as well. They seem to be endless, and you're squirming in your seat with a nasty feeling at the pit of your stomach, which questions whether you're voyeuristically enjoying such sadistic scenes for your own entertainment.
I Spit on Your Grave.
Eventually, the woman who is left for dead supposedly returns later to exact a horrifying revenge on each of the criminals who gang raped her. Why this film has been such a success in South Asian cinema is because it manages to check all the requirements of the sexy, sleazy exploitation film.
I Spit on Your Grave.
There are a number of such films which appeared on the scene around 2005. They're extremely cheap to produce and usually employ actors who are popular on stage. Way back in around 2005, in a film directed by Rashid Dogar called Saturday Night was a success, and it was followed by a film again by Rashid Dogar called Jism, and that was followed by Gunahon Ka Sheher, which was followed by Gunahon Ki Basti in 2008, Pyasa Badan, and Miss Top 10, followed by the film we're going to talk about a little bit later, Honeymoon, Black Cat, Red Light Hotel, Husn Parast, Madam X, Dirty Girl, and Supergirl are the latest in the long line of I Spit on Your Grave clones, along with Razia Phas Gayi Gundon Mein and several others during the course of Lollywood cinema history. Serenading here as films that are hard-hitting social subjects that depict women's rights.
I spit on your grave.
Provides the perfect scenario for the trashy, sleazy exploitation masterpiece here in Lollywood. You normally start the film with a newlywed amorous couple who can't wait to get into the nearest bed they can find, hardly able to keep their hands off each other.
तुम ऐसे क्या देख रहे हो? और ये गाड़ी क्यों रोक दी? क्यों? होटल नहीं पहुंचना?
होटल पहुंचते पहुंचते तब बहुत देर हो जाएगी जनमन। मैं चाहता हूँ हनीमून यहीं से शुरू करें।
तुम तक बच्चे की तरह सब्र का दामन हाथ से छोड़ रहे हो। थोड़ा इंतजार करो। चलो ना। छोड़ो ना। तुम्हारी भूख तो खत्म ही नहीं होती। सब्र करो। कहीं भागी तो नहीं जा रही?
And then, of course, you get the goons who will cause havoc and split up the pair, usually killing the man and gang raping the new bride over and over and over again. The camera, of course, lingers lovingly on the woman as these sleazy scenes are elongated beyond an embarrassing duration. Next, you have the woman who was gang raped brutally, left for dead, returning with a new disguise, which normally means a blonde wig and a set of blue contact lenses. She happens to have been saved by some kind fishermen and doesn't reveal her secret as she trains to become a death warrior ninja, and then goes on her own rampage of revenge. The prerequisite has become the use of garden shears, or possibly a kitchen knife, or a large set of sharp scissors. The infamous bathtub scene has been recreated over and over again. One of the films has a brilliant death scene which even outdoes I Spit on Your Grave, when the perpetrator of the gang rape is cornered by the seductress turned vengeance taker, and she lets loose upon him a group of very ravenously hungry rats who proceed to gnaw his private parts to oblivion. It's a gruesome scene, and the man dies of death by rat. But you can get the idea why the I Spit on Your Grave template fits the exploitation scenario perfectly, because you can get away by telling the censor boards that you've made a very serious movie that is hard-hitting indeed, but tackles the subject of feminism and women's rights, and that this kind of film is a strong social statement. Well, actually, it is not. It is nothing but a sleazy exploitation sex film dressed up as a social drama with one design and one aim only, which is to make a little money. In this particular variation of the I Spit on Your Grave theme, it involves a big shot politician come businessman by day, but by night he runs a thriving trade of pornography, minting millions by making and selling real sex videos using real people rather than actors, as he claims it is what the people want.
क्या फिल्म है खानजादा, यही तो हमारा बिजनेस है। तो दुनिया मुझे एक जिम्मेदार सियासतदान समझती है। आवाम बेचारी बहुत भोली है, बहुत जल्द धोखा खा जाती है।
अगर मैं इस कारोबार की तरफ तवज्जो ना देता तो मेरे होटल और गेस्ट हाउसेस बंद हो चुके होते। कमाई का ये बेहतरीन और आसान रास्ता है।
With his cohorts, he runs a chain of sleazy hotels, each equipped with a not-so-secret camera, which records young couples falling prey to carnal acts.
हनीमून जैसा जोश किसी और ब्लू फिल्म में नहीं हो सकता।
These honeymoon videos are the hot topic of conversation around Pakistan, and the director shows various scenes on the streets of Pakistan where the only topic of conversation is the sex videos, the honeymoon videos that apparently are the rage.
एक हनीमून दे दो, एक मिनट इनको दे दीजिए यार, आपको भी दे रहा हूँ, हनीमून सीडी यार, हनीमून वाली ये लीजिए, ये आपकी सीडी है, हमें भी दे दो भाई, एक सेकंड हनीमून बड़ी है, मेरे पास बहुत ज्यादा पड़ी है, देता हूँ हनीमून सीडी दो यार, ये लीजिए मुझे, एक हमें भी दे दो यार सीडी, साहब आपको भी दे दो यार, दो आपको भी दे दो, दो आपको भी दे दो, दो दे दो, कौन सी चाहिए? तीन दे दो यार, हनीमून सीडी, अभी तो आपको मैंने तीन दी है, मैंने तीन और दे दे, दो और ले लीजिए।
है यार आपके पास? जी मिलेगी। कितने की? 200 रुपए की। हाँ दे दो यार भाई, अब क्या करें। हाँ बिल्कुल।
And even the drugged up middle class nymphomaniacs sitting bored at home watching videos all day calls up the local video shop for the latest honeymoon videos.
हेलो, किसी नए जोड़े की हनीमून सीडी आई है मार्केट में?
जी मैडम, कमाल के नए जोड़े की हनीमून सीडी आई है।
जोश और दम है ना दोनों में?
यस मैडम, मजा आ जाएगा आपको।
तो फिर भेज दो ना हनीमून सीडी।
The gang operate in the big bad city, snatching young girls off the streets and trapping them and forcing them with drugs and alcohol into making ghastly pornographic videos, which are then sold all over the streets of Pakistan and way beyond on the internet and so on. But all is not lost, because there is Musa Khan, a rogue cop, and when he finds out about the nefarious, horrendous activities going on, he heads undercover with a plan and heads off to visit Anjuman Shehzadi, the city's top prostitute, who serenades him with a highly impressive set of acrobatics involving her mammaries and pelvic region.
Enjoy yourself.
Disappointed that she isn't going to enjoy a night of hot passion, she tells Inspector Musa the address of the group behind the latest abducted girl.
प्लीज मुझे जाने दो, मुझे अपने घर जाने दो, अपने बाबा के पास, मुझ पर रहम करो, मुझे जाने दो, प्लीज प्लीज। नहीं
थोड़ा एंजॉयमेंट तो कर ले लेपी।
Inspector Musa has a reputation as a good cop with a dark streak, and he shows he isn't in the mood for games when he wipes out some of the pornographers, starting off an all-out war with Nida Chaudhary on his side, because she is one of the vengeful victims of a horrendous gang rape, which we find out about as the movie unfolds. And in conclusion, who gets the title of the King of Sleaze here in Pakistan? Is it Saeed or Sleaze Ali Khan, or is it Rashid Dogar, who sadly passed away in a tragic fire several years ago and wasn't able to continue his golden run of sleaze and sordid films? But perhaps because of some of his masterpieces in the Pashto language, along with producer Aziz Jahangiri, the title of the sleaze master of Pakistan goes to Saeed Ali Khan, with Rashid Dogar as a very, very close runner-up.
हेलो
हेलो, कोई नई हनीमून सीडी आई हुई है मार्केट में तो मुझे दे जाओ।
जी बिल्कुल है मैडम।
आज खुद आकर दे जाओ ना हनीमून सीडी, मैं इंतजार कर रही हूँ।
ओके मैडम, मैं अभी आया। अस्सलाम वालेकुम, ये है आपकी सीडी।
अकेले सीडी देखने का मजा ही नहीं आता, मैं चाहती हूँ कोई पार्टनर साथ में हो।
जी वो मैं
आओ ना, अंदर आ जाओ।
Ahmed Bhatt has a strange career in Lollywood that started off at a time with a successful movie called Salakhe, but sadly he joined films at a time when Pakistani cinema was about to go into a serious decline, and any of the films that he got roles in subsequently were pretty appalling as far as quality was concerned, and he has ended up acting in many of these I Spit on Your Grave clones, along with co-star Nida Chaudhary. And to date, it's difficult to ascertain whether the man could actually act or not, because he ended up being used pretty much as a male sex symbol because of his physique. And in almost all the movies that he's appeared in, they do take the trouble to remove his shirt and as many clothes as possible so that people can drool at his well-oiled, muscular physique. The poor man has since departed for the United States because obviously all these cinema roles and work pretty much dried up. Nida Chaudhary, Ahmed Bhatt's partner in so many of these I Spit on Your Grave clones, joined films or was drafted into films from her success as a lewd stage dancer, and it is that got her noticed, and she was drafted in to perform in a number of sleazy, extremely sleazy Pakistani films. And the third prominent star in the film was an actress called Anjuman Shehzadi, who is also no longer with us. She was murdered, unfortunately, in the sleazy and murky world of Lollywood. She was also a prominent stage dancer, well known for the fact that her dances were extremely risque, bordering on the extremely vulgar. And it's interesting to note that many Pakistanis feel, including some of the leaders of our nation, that vulgarity is something that is completely imported from Bollywood and Hollywood. But they obviously haven't seen any local Punjabi or Pashto films over the years because they're talking out of their hat. And if there is a film industry that has made a fine art out of recycling various versions of I Spit on Your Grave, dressed up as a social message, it is the Pakistani film industry. And there's no shortage of sleaze and the most incredible vulgarity when it comes to films that are manufactured in Pakistan and have absolutely nothing to do with any culture other than our own. Which brings us to the end of this episode of Society Girl Saves the World. And we hope you enjoyed the discussion today, and we'll be back again for more of the same soon enough. Until then, stay safe. Bye-bye.